Right now, there are people losing sleep over whether their job will exist in 5 years. And honestly, some of them are right to worry. But here's what nobody is telling you. The jobs that are actually safe are not the ones most people assume. And the jobs that are disappearing fastest are the ones that took the most years of school to get. This video is about the last 10 jobs AI genuinely cannot touch, and why the smartest scientists on the planet cannot agree on whether that's temporary or permanent. You've probably seen lists like this before: AI-proof careers, future-proof skills, and most of them are vague and kind of useless. So what we're going to do here is go deeper, pull from actual 2025 research, look at real cases where AI already failed, and explain the scientific disagreement underneath each one. Because that disagreement is the whole story. Let's start with something that flips the entire conversation upside down. There's a concept in robotics called Moravec's paradox, and once you understand it, you can't unsee it. The basic idea is this: the things that are hardest for humans, chess, complex legal reasoning, writing code, reading financial data, turn out to be relatively easy for AI. And the things that feel effortless to humans, picking up a wine glass without breaking it, folding laundry in a stranger's house, diagnosing a weird noise coming from an aging car engine, turn out to be extraordinarily hard for machines. What that means in practice is that the cognitive work people spent decades and hundreds of thousands of dollars training for is more replaceable than the physical work people have been quietly dismissing as low skill for generations. A journeyman electrician right now earns a median wage of around $62,000 a year with zero student debt after 4 to 5 years of paid on-the-job training. The average 4-year college graduate enters the workforce earning about $59,000 with $39,000 in federal loans. And Deloitte projects that 41% of the current construction workforce will retire by 2031. So the shortage is accelerating at the exact same moment automation is supposed to be solving it. The counter-argument from researchers is real, though. Humanoid robots from companies like Figure AI and Tesla are specifically targeting these physical environments. So the window may be shorter than the numbers suggest. But we're not there yet, and the path there is harder than most headlines admit. Here's why. A 2025 paper from UC Berkeley's Ken Goldberg, published in Science Robotics, revealed what he calls the 100,000-year data gap. The language models powering AI today were trained on roughly 100,000 years' worth of human reading: text, images, conversations scraped from the entire internet. That's the data advantage AI has in language tasks. But for physical manipulation, for dexterity tasks like changing a light bulb or unclogging a drain, robots have almost nothing comparable. The current method for collecting robot training data is called teleoperation, where humans operate robots like puppets to generate examples of physical tasks. The problem is that for every 8 hours of human work, you get 8 hours of robot data. It would take thousands of years to close the gap at that rate. Some researchers think traditional engineering can bridge it within a decade. Others say this is a generational problem. That disagreement is not settled. But here's where it gets really interesting, because it's not just about physical work. The legal system already ran an experiment with AI, and it did not go well. U.S. courts deployed a system called COMPAS to predict whether someone would reoffend after release. The algorithm was praised for its precision. Then researchers exposed what it was actually doing. It was disproportionately flagging Black defendants as high risk. Not because of a bug, because it had absorbed the historical biases buried in decades of criminal justice data and returned them with statistical confidence, dressed up as objectivity. This is the COMPAS scandal, and most AI videos skip right past it. Judges don't just apply rules. They weigh precedent, they read the room, they consider the unique circumstances of a case that no dataset has ever seen before. Lawyers adjust their arguments in real time, based on how a jury is reacting. That's not just intelligence, that's emotional intelligence operating under pressure. Aristotle had a word for this kind of judgment: phronesis, practical wisdom. A 2025 Springer Nature paper argued that AI can emulate legal syntax, but it cannot perform judgment. It cannot advocate with a moral imagination or speak with the courage that institutional silence sometimes demands. The scientific debate here is genuinely heated. Some argue AI judges would actually be less biased than humans overall. Others say encoding historical data into justice systems is a civil rights catastrophe waiting to happen. Kazakhstan passed a law in 2025 enshrining the principle that AI is merely a tool that imitates human cognitive functions and does not replace human responsibility. The UAE, at the same time, is using AI to help write its own laws. So even governments can't agree. Now here's something that directly contradicts what you've probably been hearing. MIT Sloan published a paper in 2025 called The Epoch of AI, and what they found was that critical human-intensive tasks, the ones machines genuinely cannot do effectively, actually increased in frequency between 2016 and 2024. Not decreased, increased. The tasks newly added to the Bureau of Labor Statistics database in 2024 have higher levels of what they call human complementarity than the tasks that disappeared. The reason is that as AI handles transactional work, organizations are restructuring roles around judgment, trust, and relationship management. The counter-argument from economists is that this might just be a lag effect before automation catches up. But the data right now says human-intensive work is growing, and the jobs data from the freelance market is telling a similar story. Upwork's August 2025 hiring report found that content writing demand rose 15% and language interpretation skills rose 162%. 162%. The explanation is almost counterintuitive. AI flooded the market with volume, so now humans are hired specifically for distinction. Voice actors, interpreters, cultural translators, people whose work carries regional identity or emotional authenticity that AI-generated content cannot fake. Scientists disagree on whether this is a lasting structural shift or a temporary gap before AI closes it. But right now, the demand spike is real. That's important. But if you don't also understand what's happening at the deepest level of this debate, the job list alone won't make sense. There are roles that society is emotionally resistant to automating even when the technology exists. Hospice workers, grief counselors, chaplains. Research shows that people in terminal situations don't just prefer human presence. Physiologically, a real person's hand measurably regulates the nervous system in ways a screen cannot. Families of dementia patients specifically identified the absence of human warmth as a barrier to adopting AI in end-of-life care. The counter-argument from researchers is uncomfortable but honest. They're building AI grief companions anyway, because millions of people have no access to any support at all. And even imperfect support reduces suffering. This is one of those places where the scientific disagreement isn't really about capability. It's about what we want humans to be responsible for. And then there's the creativity question, which is where things get philosophically messy. Several researchers have argued that AI creativity is sophisticated remixing, that AI systems recombine what humans have already created rather than inventing genuinely novel concepts. The intuitive leaps, the emotional depth, the thing that makes a piece of writing feel like it came from a specific human life. AI doesn't have that. But David Chalmers, one of the world's most respected philosophers of mind, said something that should stop you in your tracks. He said current large language models are most likely not conscious, but he doesn't rule it out entirely. And he added that in the next 5 to 10 years, there's a significant chance we'll have conscious language models, and that's going to be something serious to deal with. Which brings us to the deepest layer of why scientists disagree about which jobs AI can't touch. A Cambridge philosopher published research in Mind and Language, laying out two completely irreconcilable camps. One side says if AI replicates the software of consciousness, the functional processes, then it will be conscious regardless of what it's made of. The other side says consciousness depends on biological processes in an embodied organic subject, and that even a perfect replica would merely simulate awareness without actually experiencing anything. Both sides, the researcher concluded, are taking a leap of faith far beyond available evidence. The logical position, he wrote, is agnosticism. We cannot and may never know. And that is the real reason scientists disagree about which jobs AI can't touch. They fundamentally disagree about what AI is. If you've made it this far and you're thinking about how this applies to your own career, drop a comment below. Tell me what industry you're in and whether you feel safe or not. I read these. And if this kind of deep dive research is something you want more of, subscribe. Because we do this every week, and most of the stuff we cover doesn't show up anywhere else. There's also a video linked right now that goes into exactly how to position yourself in a market where AI is handling the transactional work. It's worth watching back to back with this one. So here's where we landed. The jobs that are actually hardest to automate are the ones that require physical dexterity in unpredictable environments, real-time emotional judgment, context-sensitive legal and ethical reasoning, and human presence that people physiologically need. Trades, legal advocacy, grief care, creative work with genuine distinction, and any role built around trust and relationship. The scientific disagreement running underneath all of it is about whether these limits are permanent features of AI or temporary obstacles that will eventually fall. The honest answer is that nobody knows, and the smartest people in the room are the first ones to say so. What changed from the beginning of this video to now is the frame. This isn't a story about which jobs are safe. It's a story about what makes human work irreplaceable, and the answer is more interesting, more complicated, and more hopeful than any list is going to tell you.